Now, Australian Fashion Week is drawing to a close amid growing signs of a so-called hourglass effect in the fashion market here. That's growth at both the top-end luxury side of fashion and also at the opposite end, the value-for-money sector. And that leaves retailers and designers in the middle feeling the pinch. Here to look more at this is Patty Huntington, who's a freelance fashion journalist. Thanks very much for coming in, Patty. Good to see you. Let's start looking at the luxury end first. Has there always been a core of customers for whom price really doesn't matter, and is this core getting bigger?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what the economy is like. You've always got sort of ultra high net worth individuals. But interestingly, the luxury market in Australia, and I mean, you know, there's obviously entry level luxury prices. So it's been growing at double digits over the past 5 years, 11.1%, and it's forecast to grow at 9.2%, so slightly lower. And iconic Italian jeweller Bulgari is actually throwing a party tonight for 100 down at a sort of a mansion in Darling Point. It's bringing in over $100 million worth of jewellery for its 150th birthday celebration. And in fact, the CEO is on record that this is the #1 market for Bulgari in terms of sales per capita, which is quite extraordinary for a market with 23 million people. So, I mean, factoring into that obviously is the inbound tourism market, particularly from China, which Tourism Australia, I think, forecasts to grow from $7.4 to $9 billion by the end of the decade. So, I mean, it's interesting.
So it's a growing market. Let's have a bit of fun and take a look at some of the dresses that have been on the catwalk and look at the prices of them. This outfit here, for example, how much?
Well, the trousers, I mean, there's a number of pieces there. The trousers are about $850. The top is, I think, between $1,000 and $2,000. The dresses, this is Tony Matuszewski.
Yep.
And, I mean, he recently sort of mentioned that he bought his manufacturing onshore. I mean, this dress is between $3,000 and $4,000. The embroidery, I should note, is done in India because you get a lot more bang for your buck. I mean, people forget that we have, I think it's the highest minimum wage in the world. And we have amongst, you know, the highest retail rents in the world, which is why it's so much more expensive for people, for retailers sort of, and fashion designers to do business here. Again, another dress for $3,000 to $4,000 with a lot of beautiful embellishment. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, this hourglass effect that you mentioned, you've got this sort of growth at the top end, and then at the bottom end, with all the fast fashion people who have arrived, like H&M launched, 3 years after Zara launched in Sydney, and there were queues around the block. H&M launched in Melbourne at the old GPO building. 3,000 people queued, and 15,000 people apparently went through the store.
That's not the cheap and cheerful sector. This is pretty high quality stuff.
High quality,
that's
but
reasonable.
$30 to $40 per jeans. That's very cheap. I think there's a leather jacket for a woman about $190, which is that's unheard of in Australia. And H&M is considered to be potentially the biggest threat of all of the internationals because of their price harmonisation strategy, and that they're Zara and Topshop have been criticised for, raising their prices because, of course, everything's expensive in Australia, and also dumping unwanted stock from the Northern Hemisphere. But H&M is adamant that that's not going to happen. But I mean, 3,000 people queued. Apparently, it was their second biggest opening after Tokyo, and they have over 3,000 stores. I mean, people want to shop. If the merchandise and the in-store experience is something, to excite them, and I think that's a lesson for all of the Australian retailers.
And a brief word about what the proposed takeover of David Jones by South African Woolworths is likely to make.
Well, that blindsided the market completely yesterday. Everyone was focused on the mooted Myer merger, but I think fresh eyes on the business, especially international eyes. I mean, Country Road's done very well under Woolworths. And I mean, I think probably be a very good thing. I mean, they do need to sort of look at this as global retailers. They're not currently global retailers. They're just selling in Australia. I mean, obviously they have some small component of international sales, but good thing.
Patty Huntington, great to talk to you.
Thank you. My pleasure.